Hello and welcome to our Facebook Live show, Pulse by HealthJobHub. I am Prashanthi Naidu, the founder of HealthJobHub.com. On today's show, we are going to be sharing with you tips and advice on how to post a job online and what to include in the job posting. I am excited to introduce my special guest joining us live on Pulse this morning for part 2 of our show. He's also known as the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell. He is the managing director of RecTech Media, host of the RecTech podcast, and chief lancer at HR Lancers. Good morning, Chris. How are you? And thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, good morning, Prashanthi. It's nice to be here again.
It's such a pleasure. And tell me, Chris, what is the weather like in Connecticut this morning?
It's summer, so it's definitely hot again, hot and humid.
Yes. The last time I spoke to you, you were on our show. It was a beautiful hot day, and again today. So you are very blessed with good weather. Yeah. And I was just asking you before we went live if you have any forest fires or any of that, but no, none of that in your parts.
No, we had a hurricane last week, but that's about it.
Awesome. And tell me, Right. How's the numbers in relation to COVID? What's the situation?
Yeah, still doing great. I mean, Connecticut had no deaths, I think, for like 3 days in a row or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing a pretty good job here in the Nutmeg State.
Fantastic. I always love to hear that. And Chris, please, I know you have already done this, but for the purposes of part 2, please share with us a little bit more about your incredible work experience and your professional background.
Yeah, former job board owner, former corporate recruiter, turned consultant. So today I basically, my job is to inform the modern recruiter out there. So I publish a lot of content, podcasts, blogs, webinars, videos all around how to be a better recruiter, specifically around recruiting marketing, employer branding, and recruiting technology. So that's my job.
Awesome. And I know you have an amazing podcast that you air on Mondays, is it?
Yep, Mondays and Fridays, RecTech. It's at the intersection of recruiting and technology. If you want to learn how to leverage tech to hire, then check it out.
Fantastic, certainly will. And I encourage all our viewers, if you, especially in healthcare, and you need some amazing tips and advice, this is definitely a podcast you should be tuning into. Also for streamlining work, I find using technology to just cut out some of those manual tasks. Chris is definitely an expert at that. So tune in and listen to his podcast. Is it called RecTech, the podcast? Yes, awesome. Thank you, Chris. Chris, it's just wonderful having you again on this week on Pulse for part 2 of our tips and advice series for employers and recruiters. Today, I really want to focus on the basic principles that must be adhered to when posting a job online. So please walk us through the process that employers and recruiters should follow using HealthJobHub.com as an example to post a job online.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy, for most job boards online, including HealthJobHub. You just basically first you create your employer account. You have to sign up, create that account, which you do. Fill out your company profile. That's typically the next step. And on HealthJobHub, you get a full page of a section there to describe your company, your benefits. You can post pictures and videos up there. So you want to take advantage of that. You can link back to your career site as well. For some SEO purposes. So that's a great thing to do. And then just click on once you create the account, click on the pricing page, choose the type of job posting package you want to you need, and make that purchase and go from there. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah, no, it sounds really straightforward. And the reason why I asked this question, and the first question, and actually going down to basics, and a lot of people will say, oh my goodness, I know this, but you'll be surprised at how many people actually don't. And especially in healthcare recruiting, because like traditionally, like type for physician jobs, it's word of mouth. And now because it's becoming so much harder to find these physicians, employers are reverting to online jobs postings such as our website to come to our site and to post their jobs, a lot of them are, okay, where do I start? What do I do? So although it might sound basic, but it's actually, something that's really important that I really wanted, especially our healthcare employers, to know how simple it is and how effective it is coming onto a site like HealthJobHub.com and posting the healthcare job. But I follow on from that, Chris, is what are the key pieces of information that must be included in every online job posting?
All right, so well, let's start with the job title. So you want to keep that kind of simple and clear, right? You want to use the same keywords that a job seeker would likely type in, right?
Yes.
So for sales, you want to say sales executive or versus something like account executive, right? They're more likely to type in the word sales in a job board.
Right.
If it's a physician, tell them what kind of physician, ER, emergency room, right? Registered nurse, LPN, licensed practical nurse, right? Make sure you use those keywords in the job title. And just be clear and simple. Don't get fancy with it. Don't put strange acronyms in there. You can put a little context around it if you wanted to, as far as, if it's a startup, you could say that in the job title. Things like that overall. But keep the job title simple and keyword focused is my first tip. Also, if it's remote too, you can put that in the job title. That also helps as well. Don't forget salary. So there is a push now by a lot of job boards, especially Google for Jobs, which if you want to get included on there, they want salary ranges. And a lot of companies don't like to put that stuff, but it will help your jobs get more views if you do put salary in there. So think about adding that in some capacity overall. Don't forget location. I've seen job postings that just put the country and not the city or things like that.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're doing that correctly. Choose the right categories, and you can also maximize the amount of category. I think on HealthJobHub you can have up to 5.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So choose all the right categories. In the body of the job description itself, you can then use concentrate on keywords, right? So if it's a sales job, use the word sales 3 to 5 times in there. If there's alternate spellings of the word, you can also add those as well to help with keyword searching. But think like a job seeker and write it as they would, search for it. It's kind of here overall, but those are some of the basics.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. So I take away from that, you need to have clear, concise job titles, short and snappy and containing the keywords that your ideal candidate is going to search for. So for example, if it's a physician job you're posting, you should definitely have physician or medical doctor in that job title. You should definitely have salary information, if possible. Sometimes just make an estimate if it's not exact. And location is critical from what you've just said. So those are like the 3 must-have pieces. And of course, not forgetting the job description. There's a whole part over there that you need to include and try and have your keywords listed as many times as possible on that. No, thank you so much, Chris. I think that's brilliant. So moving then on to top tips and advice on how to write a compelling job description. What would you recommend?
Yeah, so several things here. So simple explanation of duties. You don't want to overcomplicate the posting itself. Try and take a conversational tone in the wording itself. So use words like you instead of the ideal candidates. Talk to the candidate in their language, right? So be conversational in tone overall. Describe what a successful candidate looks like to you. That's always a good thing, a good section to have in there. Be realistic. You don't sugarcoat the truth. I remember when I was a corporate recruiter, I worked for a cruise line, and you had to work 3 months in 12 weeks in a row, no days off. So we put that in the job description, right? We didn't sugarcoat it. Doing things like that will help weed out people who you're not likely to hire, and they won't clog up your ATS there. talk about the challenges and rewards of the job, right? Again, being realistic. Talk about what the problems are, types of projects you'll be working on, maybe even who you'll be working with. I love when I can see, like, you'll be reporting to the department of, head of this department, right? The more information you can throw in there, the better. So their research overall, but keep it also compelling introduction as well. Let me read you one example. So I found this one online. This is for a QA engineer. It's a tech role, but so the first paragraph of the job description says, "Are you a stubborn person who's not afraid of searching for a needle in a haystack? Do you love the border between development and product? Are you a ardent learner who always is looking to improve? Can you play nice with both humans and machines?" That's the opening paragraph of this particular job description, and so it's a bit compelling, right? It's talking right to the candidate and getting to, are you the right person for this job?
Yes.
If you like these things, then continue reading, basically. So it really helps that flow and that candidate there. So be compelling in your introductions. Talk about the challenges and rewards of the jobs. Describe a day in the life is always a great thing to do in the job description. That's easy to do, right? That should be easy to write for the average, HR person who's writing this stuff. Let's face it, HR was not designed to. They typically don't have the skill sets to write compelling job descriptions. So I always encourage companies to think about hiring a freelance copywriter to help out. But giving it to a couple of people in your marketing department maybe who are good at writing. But that's who should think about outsourcing a bit of your copywriting things here, because you can really change the tone of a job description when you write it correctly. The words matter, in other words.
100%. No, that's great advice, because especially for like medical clinics, I don't even think they might have a designated HR department. It might be usually the owner of the clinic, or maybe it's the manager of the clinic who's wearing several hats. And one of them is including writing a job posting. So sometimes you come onto our site and you might just see these job postings with very little in the job description, because simply it's a matter of they don't really have the resources within their teams to have somebody specifically focus on job descriptions and HR and recruitment. So this is a great tip. And I love the idea, if you may not know how to do it, it's great to maybe outsource that a little bit for you. It could just be the deciding factor when somebody comes and looks at the job posting. When they have more information to chew on, it might be actually the better thing to do. So yeah, no, that's great advice, Chris. Thank you. So what are your feelings on photos and videos? Should they be included in job postings too? And if so, what are your thoughts on stock images versus real photos?
Well, always real images. I mean, you want to show off, life at the company and the actual employees working there, right? Most job seekers can smell a stock photo a mile away, and it's not going to help your brand at all if you're doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, the more visual you can be in your job description, the better. It's a visual web, and you want to showcase, at least maybe what the office looks like. A short video, no more than 2 minutes long. Maybe a day in the life video would be great to add as well. But anything you can do to make the job more visual is a plus. And it's only going to help you to keep that job description or that job seeker on the site longer and reading, right? It's a hook. It's a way to keep reading and sell your company and sell the job. So you definitely want to add visuals to the mix as much as you can.
Awesome. And we had an employer, they were actually called Excel Health here in Calgary, and they used our site. And they had posted several videos, and they posted several photos actually on their job posting. And this was a year ago. But within 5 days, they received a candidate who applied to the job. And the candidate reached out to me by chance. Like he had he did not know me. He was not part of my network, but he found me online, and he told me that the reason why he applied to the job so quickly as well is because it was so descriptive. It had all those photos, real photos of the clinic, which was a beautiful clinic, by the way, and it had that video, and he was able to compare it against the other job postings we had on our site as well. And he just loved the look and feel and the atmosphere coming from the photos and the job posting. And literally he used our site to phone the manager directly, because you can actually dial straight from the job posting on HealthJobHub.com and connect with the hiring manager. And the next day he was out there visiting the site, and he signed up with them. So it was like one of our quickest turnarounds on HealthJobHub.com. But it's interesting, our testimonial is on the site, and if you go through and listen to it, she always recommends photos. So that's definitely a must-do for clinics, especially when you're trying to, recruit these in-demand types of candidates. It could be the deciding factor. So yeah, no, thank you, Chris. That's great advice as well. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave our, employers and recruiters with in how they can be successful in posting their jobs, especially for these hard-to-find candidates?
Well, don't write a job description, write a job advertisement. That's kind of a mantra I always think about. Most companies don't give 2 cents to their job descriptions, but make them a job ad, make them a marketing document, and you'll stand out more, right?
Yes.
You actually take some time and actually develop the right job posting, you'll actually stand out above all the other companies that are out there. And I can tell you, one of the last jobs I had as a full-time employee, they actually hired a copywriter to write this thing, and it really spoke to me, and that's why I applied. I got that job for a software company. But yeah, words matter, and don't think about. It shouldn't be a list of duties and responsibilities. It should be an advertisement that talks to the seeker and gets them to click that apply button. That's the job of a job posting, is get them to apply. And if you're not taking advantage of that, then you're doing yourself a disservice of the company, and you're not getting as many seekers as you could be at this point.
100%. No, that's brilliant advice. Thank you, Chris. And when it comes to healthcare job seekers, some of them may not hit the apply button, but they might actually hit the phone button and call you, because just of the nature of the type of job seeker. So whatever it is, whichever way they're going to contact you via our site, you just need to make it as compelling as possible for them to do so. And you really need to make your ad stand out against the others that are also recruiting. So yeah, I really hope that this episode will bring a lot of value and benefit to our employers that are coming to HealthJobHub.com. Number one, to know that it's so easy to post a job online. And number two, to know that we at HealthJobHub.com are doing everything we can to market that job and get the right people to see it and the right people to apply to it. And number three, we are trying to make it as easy as possible for that job seeker to contact you and apply to that job. Chris, sorry, you were going to say something.
I said one other thought. Number one, you can put your phone number on your HealthJobHub postings. The other thing great to add is to a listing, especially in healthcare, is like the recruiter's email address.
Right.
Contact that recruiter directly. That will also help to just get more job seekers to show interest and click on that. So.
Perfect. I see we have a viewer question, Chris, so I'm going to show that onto the screen. Should you not invest in having an interactive website with pictures or videos about the company?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first of all, your job descriptions are sort of the main landing page for any candidate today, right? 8 times out of 10, they're going to land on the job description because they found it somewhere. But your career site should also kind of go into a deeper dive as to why they should come work there. So you should be showing off life at the company. You should be telling candidates what the hiring process will be like, and have that content up there. What kind of benefits you offer, right? So yeah, your career site should be, again, a marketing site that promotes why you should come work there. Essentially, that's what it should answer. and you should give candidates all kinds of information and videos and pictures about life at the company and show it off. And that's what today's candidates are seeking out there. They want the real life story here. That's what a career site does overall. But yeah, you should have that in addition to these, and it's something that it's important to do these days.
100%. And I'd like to add to that as well. When you start with a job posting, I look at it as a lead generation, tool that would take you to that career site that would have so much of more information to share. So it's all about, especially in healthcare recruiting, it's all about trying to capture the attention of the candidate because there's so many different touch points. The career site is certainly one of the most important touch points, but how do we get people to that career site? Sometimes, candidates don't even know about your organization, and that's where these online job boards such as HealthJobHub.com play such a vital role, is because we are marketing to many and we are putting the word out there that we have several employers who are amazing that you should consider, and we can direct those candidates to your corporate career site. So I think they work hand in hand as well. So yes, definitely invest in a website for your clinic or your company, whatever the case is. That's great. Thank you so much to our viewers for that question. If there's any other questions, please add it onto the chat. We will certainly get back to you. And thank you for watching. Chris, is there any last words you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Nope. Have a great Sunday, everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for being our special guest on Pulse by HealthJobHub today and sharing your great insights on how to successfully post a job online. Thank you to all our amazing viewers. Thank you for tuning in, watching live, and thank you so much for your questions. Don't forget, if you enjoyed our show, please smash the like button, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share with your network. Take care, stay safe, and God bless everybody. Thank you.